Here in the United States, we had an incident where 27 Cuban and Haitian refugees coming by raft from the Caribbean trying to get into the United States were stopped by the Coast Guard and were repatriated. They were returned back to their country. Except here's the big issue, though. Alexander Mayorkas put out a statement the other day saying that, hey, we're working with these countries right now. I think we have a tweet up for it. Slogan can kind of pull that up, but we're working with the local and federal partners to support these governments. And it's unsafe to come across the Florida Straits right now. And then he doubled down in another tweet saying that the time is never right to attempt migration by sea. To those who risk their lives doing so, the risk is clearly not worth taking. So if you take to the sea, you will not come to the United States. Now, if anyone, unless you've been maybe living under a rock or hanging out with Vladimir Putin lately, you know that there is a crisis at the border. We have a clip of this from Fox News' Bill Malugin from just a couple days ago of migrants from the Caribbean just walking across the border, Border Patrol opening up the gate, quite literally opening up the gate for these migrants to come into the country, be bussed in, and eventually processed. So maybe those 27 folks coming in by raft would have had an easier time coming across either the Rio Grande Valley or through the Tucson sector of Arizona, because that's what we're seeing right now.
Being welcomed onto a bus.
Right here, room for everybody, welfare benefits for everybody.
Yep. Everyone. So if you come by raft, if you are in Cuba and you are listening to this, you're not, because you don't have internet. They shut it off for you. But if you wanted to come here by raft, can't do that. Want to come here by land? No problem. We'll let you in. We'll bus you in. Now, my first question for you guys is, should we be letting Cubans and people fleeing communism or any sort of thing coming in by raft, should we have let these 27 people in?
Of course, diplomatic asylum exists for a reason. It's being abused at the southern border right now because people can make almost any claim, and they know the things to say that would grant them asylum. Political asylum, not diplomatic, pardon me. They know the things to say, but asylum doesn't exist to simply allow people into your country without citizenship or paperwork. Asylum exists to provide a safe haven for people who need it under certain circumstances. Fleeing communist totalitarian dictatorships is one of those conditions. That's why political asylum exists. So taking to the sea or not, and by the way, who says taking to the sea anymore?
It sounds like
Mayorkas, he is of Cuban heritage too. So at some point, his folks took to the sea, presumably, and came over. Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. Asylum laws exist to protect people like Cuban refugees, and they also exist to keep out people who are simply trying to leave one country because they can make more money and enjoy welfare benefits in another country.
Yeah, it sounds like, I think that the taking to the sea thing sounds like it was written in like a 1600s novel or something. But I think that actually...
and by the way, they're from Caribbean islands, so I don't think they just... Maybe they just took to the air and floated over somehow, but they most likely took to the sea as well, Mr.
Exactly.
Mayorkas.
And I think that just kind of shows his inability to be sympathetic towards what these people are going through, because I think it's clearly a prepared statement that he's written up. He's said, all right, we're going to make a clear statement as to why we don't think that these Cubans should be allowed to enter the U.S. So he writes this big statement that's supposed to be impressive, taking to the sea. Like, it's clearly not something that he is trying to understand or like sympathize with them.
Churchillian.
It's like we're better than you and you can't come here. Meanwhile, we let other people come here who will vote for us.